Hey guys, welcome back to Rod Shocks Games, and today we're going to tackle a new subject. Something I've been kind of thinking about doing a video series on, so I guess you can call this episode 1. And this series is going to be called Battling My Backlog. So, if you guys don't know, and you probably do know, I own way too many video games. I have a ton of games that I've never beat. Shoot, I have games that I've never even played, and that's not even getting into my digital backlog. Like the amount of games I have on the PlayStation Network, on the Nintendo eShop, on Steam that I'll inevitably probably never play, Switch games, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, PSP, DS, just stuff that I have that I've never beat, never played even sometimes, which is ridiculous. You know, who buys a game and doesn't play them? Apparently me. So, something that my buddy Justin and I have been doing for, it's been a few years now. We do what's called 12 and 12. And every year we pick 12 games out of our backlog that most of which we've never beaten. Sometimes we just want to do a replay that we haven't played in a while. But we take those 12 games and we attempt to beat all 12 in the calendar year. That's just a little over calendar year. Usually we start the challenge in October when we do our annual, we do like an Amish country trip because we're old and enjoy taking it easy and having good food and grocery shopping where it's cheaper. But who doesn't love grocery shopping where it's cheaper? Plus cheese. Anyways, one of the few video game related things that we tend to do when we're out and about. So we always begin this list. We always make the list on our way home from that trip. It's like a 3-hour drive. We make our lists, and when I say attempt to beat all 12, we never beat all 12. Usually we beat like 2 or 3 maybe. We never stick to it because a lot of times it's like, oh, I don't want to play this anymore. I want to play this instead. So this year I have stuck to it some. There are some games on that list that I have beat that were on my backlog for the first time. Of course, a lot of those I don't even consider necessarily backlog games because some of them were 2024 titles that I was still working on, like Visions of Mana, for instance. But I did recently beat one that I've been working on for 2 years. And I just started one that's been in my backlog even longer that I've always wanted to play. I've always heard really good things about. And then maybe talk about what's next as far as my battling my backlog is concerned. So let's talk about the game that I just wrapped up over the weekend, and that is Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the PlayStation 5. So when this game came out, I started it, and of course, when this first launched, if you played this at launch, you already know that it wasn't in very good shape. There are performance issues, there are graphical issues. I wouldn't say it was unplayable by any means, but it was definitely a technical disappointment. Technological disappointment, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Especially coming off of Jedi Fallen Order on the PlayStation 4, which I personally would say that is one of the best Star Wars games ever. It's certainly, and this may be a little bit of a hot take, in my opinion, is the best Jedi game ever. And a lot of people will say, well, what about Knights of the Old Republic? Battling the backlog. Eventually, I will play through the entirety of Knights of the Old Republic and then can add that to the conversation. But for now, Jedi Fallen Order, and then I want to just kind of connect it side by side with Jedi Survivor, because they're both amazing games. Everything about those, like the characters and the story, it's just so intriguing. It's got great combat. It's just one of those games that, like, I play it and it just feels good to play. It always controls really well. It really makes you feel like you're a Jedi. So I first started playing it when it came out in 2023. Obviously, there were issues there. I didn't beat the game, but I did play a decent bit. And then just for whatever reason, I just stopped playing. Don't know why. Something else must have... Actually, you know what? It was probably Tears of the Kingdom came out and interrupted my Jedi Survivor playthrough. If I had to guess, that's what it was. Because they weren't too far apart as far as their release dates. So I would almost guarantee I got distracted by Tears of the Kingdom, which, hey, it's Zelda. When Zelda comes out, everything else stops. But anyways, And then I didn't touch it for like a year, maybe a little over a year. And then like last spring of 2024, I was like, you know what? I want to get back to this because I really, really enjoyed, I enjoyed Jedi Survivor. I love Jedi Fallen Order. I really want to see where the rest of the story goes. And a lot of these problems have been fixed now. So I was like, all right, let's go. Started playing it again. And I'll put, a good several hours into the game, and then all of a sudden I stopped and didn't touch it again. I don't know what it is on this game. Like I just can't sit through and play it straight through. I gotta not play it for another year, which is what it ended up being. I stopped for literally no reason at all. I knew I was getting pretty close to the end of the game. I had just kind of looked at a guide to see how far I was from the end, and I was nearing the end of the next to the last chapter. So I don't know why I stopped, but I did. A few weeks ago, after I got the PlayStation 5 Pro, I decided, you know what, it's time to battle my backlog. It's time to get Jedi Survivor off that backlog, to finally get that one off my back, because it's a great, great game, and it deserves, it deserves to be finished. So, I kind of sat down over the course of, 5 or 6 days, just, a little bit here and there in the evenings, minus a fairly long play session. The evening I wrapped it up, I think it was like last Saturday night, and I finally beat it, and let me say, I'm really excited for where that's going to go. So, in my opinion, I guess, spoilers for Jedi Survivor. Spoilers ahead for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, just slightly, I guess. I'm not going to actually spoil the story, but I feel like when the next game in the series comes out, which they've already said that the next game is going to be the final game in the trilogy, and I'm just going to say it right now, Respawn's Jedi trilogy is way better than the sequel trilogy that Disney did with Star Wars, Episode 7, 8, and 9. It just is on another level from those movies. Those movies were not very good. Granted, I do enjoy The Force Awakens, but The Last Jedi was pretty rough, and Rise of Skywalker was a joke. So it's nice to be able to visit this universe instead. It's still tied into the original trilogy. Vader's there. You deal with him a couple of times. This is taking place between Episode 3 and Episode 4, at some point after the Great Jedi Purge. And you can kind of tell where it's going there toward the end of the game. In the game's final act there, that I think in the final game of the trilogy, we're really going to see Cal Kestis struggle with the dark side. There were scenes where you had there was a button prompt to embrace the darkness. And Cal started to get a little out of control, started kind of embracing some hatred, talked about his hatred, and this finale is going to be awesome. The only concern I have is that the lead producer on the Jedi games, he did leave Respawn in order to work on Battlefield 6, which, by the way, that revealed today. That trailer looks really good. I want to see some gameplay, but Battlefield 6, save us from Call of Duty slop. You can save us from the slop that is Call of Duty. Make shooters great again, EA. You can do this. I can't believe I'm placing faith in EA for anything, but I have faith in the guy. I think he can do it. Just a shame that he's not going to be there to finish the Jedi trilogy. But I wrapped that up, and I'm very happy he's doing it. Hey guys, Future Roger here from the future, and I would just like you to know that I appreciate all of you watching and subscribing, but we are trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of July, and I still think we really can do it. So if you guys don't mind, like the video, leave me a comment, smash that subscribe button, and also join our Discord, which is in the description of the video. Thank you. And then I decided to jump into another game now that I've had in my backlog for a while, that I've been considering playing off and on for a couple of years. And that's A Plague Tale: Innocence. And I always hear really good things about this game, and so much so that even A Plague Tale: Requiem, I know a lot of outlets had it as a Game of the Year nominee, even once the Game of the Year awards from a few outlets, I believe. And I was like, I think I need to really experience this universe. I've heard good things, and I started it up on Sunday, and I just could not put it down. The story hooked me immediately. Of course, if you're not familiar with the game, this game takes place in France. You're a 14-year-old girl who is out, hunting with her father, and all of a sudden, something, they're chasing a boar. Their dog gets injured. They find the boar, and it's like destroyed. And then their dog gets kind of like sucked into this hole in the ground by an unknown whatever it is. Spoilers, it's rats. It's the bubonic plague. This is 14th century France. And the plague is going into full effect. So you're kind of like going through this world that has been just ravaged by the plague, guiding your brother along to try to find some sort of safety in a world that's just becoming a hellhole to live in, I suppose. I don't really know another way to describe it. I got to chapter 7, I believe, last night. Maybe in chapter 8 I got to. So far, this game is this is a good solid 9 for me. Like, why did I sleep on this game so long is my question. It's got, again, it feels good to control. I like the gameplay. It's got some stealth elements, and I'm not usually a big stealth game guy unless I'm playing like Metal Gear Solid. That's typically 90% of the stealth games I'm going to play is going to be a Metal Gear game. But I like what it does in the stealth sections in this game, whether you're hiding from guards and finding a way to take them out or distract them to get through, while all the meanwhile trying to avoid just these floods of rats trying to basically bite you and infect you and eat you alive, possibly. It's very dark. That story gets dark real quick. And I'm so excited to see also where this goes. I know I just said that about the next Jedi game, but this is one, it's like, okay, I keep playing because I gotta know. Turbo is currently tearing up a scratching apparatus, as you can hear. And as you can tell, my tripod has also already been slightly turboed. Speaking of, here he comes. Anyways, story, gameplay, it's all got me really sucked in. I like the characters. Like, I already feel attached. Like, I don't want anything to happen to these characters. It's almost, I don't want to compare it to The Last of Us in any way, because it's really not a comparison that you can make necessarily. But in terms of like the heart wrench, like it's like watching an episode of The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones. Like, oh man, who's going to die? Like, what's going to happen? Maybe not necessarily to that extreme per se, but like, you always feel like, okay, these characters are with me now. How long are they going to be here? Like, are they going to die? Is it, is this character going to die like immediately? Am I going to have her very long? Like, I don't know. So if you've not played the Plague Tale games, I highly recommend checking that out. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, if you're a fan of like historical fiction, I don't want to call it a walking simulator, but if you like any kind of stealth adventure, I think you would really like A Plague Tale: Innocence. It's got a great setting, great story, great characters. In fact, when I get done wrapping up this video here in a little bit, I'll probably be firing that up and playing that before I jump into Donkey Kong Bonanza and maybe some Fantasy Life later. So yeah, that is Battling My Backlog, episode 1. So once I get into another set of backlog games, a little more down the line here, we'll do another one of these videos and talk about games that I've been playing out of the backlog. But for now, those are the two that I'm really, well, for Jedi Survivor, of course, like I said, I'll wrap that up. Really focused in on The Plague Tale: Innocence at the moment. Looking at a couple of games possibly to jump into next. I've got Stellar Blade loaded up on the PlayStation 5. I don't know if that's going to be the one. I've got Horizon Forbidden West loaded up on the PS5, which I really do need to get to at some point. But there's big games coming out right now, guys. We're heading into August. We're only a few weeks away. I know Mafia: The Old Country looks really good. That comes out in a couple weeks. We've got Metal Gear Solid Delta, the Metal Gear Solid 3, Delta Snake Eater, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. I love Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. Those are some of my favorite games. So I'm just recently, actually earlier this year, played Metal Gear Solid 2 for the first time, speaking of Battling My Backlog. But I know I talked about it in a different video. So I'm really looking forward to playing this remake of 3. I've not played 3. So that's pretty exciting for me to be able to dive into that. So I don't know if I would really consider the remake like a backlog game for Battling the Backlog, but at the same time, I guess technically Snake Eater isn't my backlog, so the remake of Snake Eater kind of is. But we'll see. Like I said, lots of games getting ready to come out. You know, September's going to be loaded with Borderlands. In fact, here next week, I'm going to do an upcoming games video for August. We'll talk about things coming out to the Switch 2, big titles coming to the PlayStation. Maybe we'll touch a little bit on Xbox. So that's going to be the next video coming out sometime next week. And until next time, guys, we'll see ya.